Hello, YouTubers. Terry here again. This is a Corona killing video. It started several years ago. I used to clean out warehouses or homes so that there had been foreclosure and people just left all their junk in there, or mostly warehouses though, and other places places had fire damage. And so I was in Mobile, Alabama, and my parents were about 100 miles north. They had these large buildings that were once hog farms. I'll show you a couple of them here. And I would just bring all the junk up here and dump it out in the shed, in a barn over there too. And anyway, I ended up here in 2011 taking care of mom and dad till they passed away. And then I started going through all the junk that I had drug up. And a lot of it was very useful. But I come across stuff I didn't know what it was, and I would just hold it back. But the stuff like lots of extra clothes and furniture and things like that, it wouldn't be in the greatest shape. But I'd just take it up the end of the road and put it by the highway, and people pick it up. Matter of fact, the first time I did it, I put a big sign up there that said free, and they even took the sign. So it wasn't any problem getting rid of stuff or having to pay for a dumpster to throw it in or anything. So one thing I found was in one of the warehouses, I guess there was a few cases of these ballasts. They're 13-watt ballast, and I started looking up what they were good for, and they run aquarium sanitizer UV lights. And so I bought a few off of eBay, 13 watt, and started figuring out how to make them work. And it was actually pretty simple. You take a ballast and you take an extension cord and cut the other end off, and you follow the little end, which is the hot side when you plug it in. Let's see, that side. I followed it. Now, it probably works either way, but this is the way I know it works and the way I started doing it. And you wire it into the hot side. See, I marked on my cord there a little bit of black with a magic marker so I know. And I put the wire that came out of the ballast has a coating over it. So I'd put the hot to that coating. This side comes out. I put a little thing on. This one's not tight, but that I could hook into the light. And then the other side, the ground side, it just went to the other pin. So the lights have two pins. You can see here where you can put these on. These are too big, but they're just here for demonstration. Okay, so one side will be a ground and one side will be coming out. So then I took about a 3-inch block of wood and I screwed the ballast into the block of wood, and then put a little hook on it like this hook. And then I put, well, actually smaller, I'm having trouble, so there it is, smaller these little wire things with the holes in them. So those would go into there. And I had to buy these little holders for the lamp to plug in. It's like a socket. Well, anyway, once I did that, I could put these over the pins and push it together, and they would make contact into the socket. And then I would put one of the light bulbs on it. I keep the bulbs. It's not good to touch any kind of light bulbs like this with your hands because they got oily, and it'll supposedly can damage or make them crack. So keep the paper on them. And then I tested them. I had a place that was a post that had all this kind of mold on it, and I put it on the mold. Well, first, yeah, I'll get back to that. But it killed the hell out of it. And I read more and more about UV light sanitation, and I even read where they're selling these like $50,000 robotic units that'll go through a hospital to every room, and it takes about 5 minutes, and it will just tear the DNA apart on viruses, on bacteria, anything harmful. But human cells are too big. It doesn't bother humans. But while I'm telling you what does bother humans, it will bother your eyes. When I was working on them, I probably kept looking at them on and off, and for about a minute or minute and a half while I was putting something together and getting it to work. And about 15 minutes to 30 minutes later, my eyes felt like I had sand in them and they were hurting. Then a little while later, I became like almost temporarily blinded. And then finally I got back. So you do not want to look at one of these. I see these doctors on TV, that doctor show, and they got one. They're now all standing around laughing and looking at it. Those things, I mean, if you're going to put them somewhere, don't put them where the public can see it. If you put one in the lab assistant knows not to, the lab workers and assistants know not to look at it because it will hurt your eyes. But it will kill the hell out of bacteria. These are 13 watt. I think they're used in aquariums, in the aquarium, recycling the water to kill any bacteria to keep your fish healthy. I wouldn't put them in there where the fish could see them because they might go blind. So essentially just put it together. You shove the holder, it's got little pinholes in it where the prongs from the light go in. And so you can put these on the prongs and shove it together and they make contact, and then I put the hook to hang them up. So I have a couple here. You might see this one's kind of dirty. I probably ran it for a year just in an area I wanted to sanitize things, and it killed mold, it killed whatever, and it even kills plants if it's too close to plants. So I got a couple here that I still have made. I'm plug one in. There you can see it come on. I'm not going to look at it, but I think I can look at it through the camera. Plug the other one in. And believe me, that right there is Corona's worst nightmare. So is Ebola, Mars, SARS, Sears. Well, Sears is out of business, but if you're a microorganism, it will kill you dead. And it takes just a few minutes to destruct you. So they're ideal. You don't have to be spraying a lot of stuff and everything. You just can't be looking at them. And actually, the salons use them. They use the 9 watt. But these are 13 watt, whatever the heck they call. Anyway, the exciters, or the ballast is what they are. They're 13 watts, so they won't run a 9 watt. But I bought a few 9 watt to try them because they only cost like $1, and these are about $8 to $10 for the 13. So you can put the whole thing together for under $30. Actually, I sold a few on eBay for $30, but I didn't make a video then on how to put them together, and people were confused, so I just kind of quit. They wanted to know a lot of statistics about it, and all I could tell them was, you don't want to be around it if you're bacteria. It'll kill you if you're mold or spores or viruses or bacteria. It's the end if this light shines on you for a few minutes. So I'm offering to donate some to local hospitals. I just have to get some more. Only thing I don't have is the little holders. I think they were $2, so I'll see if I can find some of them. The problem is if they come out of China, they might take 2 months to get them, but very inexpensive, very effective. You could put them in places where people are not going to be and then turn them off before the people come in, or put them where people are aware of them and don't look at them. So that's an inexpensive way to really deal with the viruses the whole world is trying to deal with right now. Okay, if you have any questions, post them, and I'll see if I can answer or find somebody that can. Thank you. Stay safe.